Hey folks, Gary here. Hey, yesterday we looked at Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 1 and 3 on how to live a really successful life. Well, let's continue on with that because there's a lot of wisdom in this. Let's look at verses 4 to 9 and see what wisdom there is. So Moses is writing to the children of Israel and he says, "Listen, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all of your strength." Well, if that sounds familiar, when the Pharisees asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? He repeats this, right? He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. But then Jesus continues on and says, also love your neighbor as yourself. Why? Because on these two things, everything hangs on that. You want to have a really good, successful life? Get those things done first, and everything else falls in order. But Moses continues. And you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you're at home and when you're on the road, when you're going to bed and when you're getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead. That they would actually do that as reminders. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. In other words, really dig into the Word of God. You must say, well, why should I have to do that? Why? Because that way you will know it. If you know it, you'll do it. If you think about it, you'll do it, right? If you really press into it, then that will be a pattern for your life and you'll find great success in it. Harold Craxton has this famous quote, and his famous quote is this: amateurs will practice music. So if you play in a band, you know what that's like. You practice the songs, right? So you get it right. It says, amateurs will practice music until they get it right. Professionals will practice their music until they can't get it wrong. So it becomes a part of them. Same thing with this. Study the Word of God. Get to know God. Get close to Him. And do this on a consistent basis so you're constantly doing it, and tell it to your children. Tell it to people around you. Teach them this. Do it so much that it becomes second nature. And here's the thing about it. When you follow the patterns that God has laid out in front of you, you're going to find a lot of success in your life. You're going to find a lot of joy in your life. Things are going to be really good. It's not about works by any means. It's just simply following into the pattern that God has set out for you for your life. And that's only going to be better. When you're walking like this with God in that relationship with Him, that's going to be so much better than it's ever been before. Trust me on this. Just give it a try.